Warning, this video contains doll nudity, so if you're easily offended, look away. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. 2 videos in one day. Well, hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to get this all finished tonight, but I'm going to try. As it said at the start, this video will be containing doll nudity, so if you're offended by naked dolls, this probably isn't the video for you. I have them kind of covered up for the sort of opening shot. Okay, so as the title says, this will be a review of the various sort of knockoff dolls that I've gotten from Aliexpress. As you can see, the majority of them are knockoff Monster High dolls. This here head, I have to say before we go any further, this head and this head, they're not knockoffs, I just stuck them on those bodies, so they are real, genuine Monster High heads, both of those. But the bodies of these 2 dolls and then these 3 dolls are all knockoffs of various things. Obviously this is supposed to be a knockoff of Ever After High, but when we actually look at her, you'll see that she actually has a Monster High body. And this one over here is very strange, but I'll get to her in a minute. Okay, so these sort of knockoff dolls are available in places like Aliexpress and eBay and Wish. And they're a good option for people who are just starting out in the hobby that want a cheap doll to practice on rather than, you know, start you practicing on a genuine Monster High doll. And also maybe if you need a replacement body or replacement parts. The arms unfortunately don't swap out to regular Monster High very well, but I will try that later and show you to see if, you know, it would be an option. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be comparing each of these dolls to a genuine Monster High doll or whatever doll it happens to be. Okay, so I'm starting off with this one because it's probably the least interesting. It's just the body here, not the head. As I said, that's genuine Monster High head. Actually, a random aside about this head, I actually bought her from eBay like this, like partly rooted, and with her face wiped off. I feel like someone like started to work on her and then just lost the will to continue. Rebooting is a bit of a pain, so I saw her on eBay and I felt sorry for her to be abandoned, so I do have plans for her though. Since she has purple hair at the bottom, I'm thinking about doing a Pride doll next year in June and giving her like full rainbow hair, so that's my plans for that, but that's a little bit of an aside. Okay, so this is just a knockoff Monster High body. Obviously the skin tone is completely mismatched. This would be a body for a Katrine or a Spectra, just white body. You don't get any head with this, just the body itself. I think it cost me about £3, and I believe I got this one from Wish, but you can get them on Aliexpress as well. By looking at it, you can see that there isn't much difference. I feel like this body is a little smaller. Like when they recast it, it shrank a little bit. I think that does happen, so but it's hard to really see because it's such a small difference. Also, she's standing on the ground and she's standing on the stand, but whatever. So these bodies are okay. They're not great, but they're not awful. The legs are a little bit wiggly. The arms as well are made of a sort of squishy thing. It's strange. It's like genuine Monster High dolls have like hard arms and then sort of squishy hands, whereas with these dolls, the hands from the elbow down and the legs from the knee down are made of the same material as Monster High hands usually are, which is a bit weird. And some people, I know that some people who have got these have been really off-put by that. Occasionally also I've heard that they smell a bit funny. I'm assuming that that's just mold release and that if you wash the doll it'll be fine. But I don't know because I haven't got any that smelled funny myself, so that's just me guessing. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this a second and pop off her head so I can show you her ball joint. Okay, I said ball joint there. I didn't mean that because she doesn't actually have a ball joint at all. Also, as you've noticed, I also took off the arms and tried them on Ghoulia, and actually they fit fine. It wasn't this doll whose arms I tried on a previous doll. I have another knockoff lying about somewhere. I'm not really sure where she is, but I had tried them before and the pegs were too small. These pegs fit fine, so if you have a doll with no arms, this is a cheaper option than buying them from Mattel. You could buy one of these KO dolls, and sometimes you can get them for £2. Sometimes you can get them in like 3 of the bodies for like £6, which is even cheaper. So that would be an option to get hands for your Monster High dolls. as long as you don't mind that their forearms being a little bit squishy, but the forearms aren't so bad, it's the legs that are bendier, to be honest. I think because the forearms are quite short, it doesn't really bend so much, whereas with the legs, you do notice the bendiness. Also, with the KO body, I just want to show you quickly, they have cast the top of the ball joint. Of course, it's not focusing. Yeah, okay. They've cast the top of the ball joint of a Monster High doll, sort of, but it just pops on and off. It doesn't have any kind of peg in there. That's just a one piece, which means that the dolls can't look up and down. They can only look side to side. However, most Monster High dolls don't have very good up and down motion anyway because of the way that their heads are shaped, so it's not such a big deal. The only thing that I really miss is the sort of tilting of the head, because I do like to, when I'm taking pictures of them, I would like to tilt their head a little bit. It just gives a little bit more expression. Okay, so that's the KO Monster High doll. Next, I'm going to show you the KO Ever After High. So this is the KO Ever After High doll. Obviously she's meant to be apple white. She was a bit more expensive. I can't remember exactly how much. I think she was like £7 or £8. I wouldn't say that she was worth the price, to be totally blunt. I thought that she would have an Ever After High body, but then I realised it was actually just the same knockoff Monster High body. It's exactly the same as this, except it's pink, so it's Draculaura, I guess. She does come with an outfit, which is fine to look at, but as you can see, the shirt doesn't fit, and it's just made of awful material. And the skirt, I actually like the design of the skirt, so I'm actually thinking just to salvage this little bit, that I will use it to make a pattern, because this skirt in better material would be good. And also this material here, that's the sort of, with the glitter on it, it's actually quite good. So I probably will take this off and save it. This material under here though feels like paper. Don't know if you can hear that. My cat's decided to play with her bells just exactly the same time. But yeah, this material, it's crinkly and awful. She also comes with this little handbag shaped like an apple, which is pretty good quality if you wanted the handbag. Actually, to be honest, for me, her saving grace are her shoes. Or is her shoes, rather. They're very pretty, nice sculpt. I think that they're a Monster High shoe, but I'm not sure whose shoes they are because I don't think I've got these ones. But these are very nice, and I'll probably be using the shoes for one of my custom dolls. So that sort of makes her worth it a little bit. Her head is also fine. It's better quality plastic than the body is. You know, be fine, assuming that this makeup didn't stain the plastic, or the vinyl rather. Assuming that it's not stained, it would probably make a fine repaint. Although if you're rerooting her, which I will be doing, you would need to make your own holes because she is very, very sparsely rooted and there are no holes in her head apart from, you know, where they've rooted her. The hair itself though, I mean, it's fine. It's not great material, but it's not awful either, I guess, is sort of the idea. I'm just going to take her clothes off quickly and then show you her body underneath and also compare her to a genuine apple white. So here she is next to a genuine apple white. I'd like to apologise for the state of this apple's hair. I got her in a pre-owned played with, oh my goodness, played with condition, and she is a total mess, but obviously that's fine. I'm going to be cutting her hair off. But yeah, just looking at the body side by side, it's immediately obvious that this is a Monster High body, not an Ever After High body, because it's completely different. Also, I'm not 100% sure that this face mold even is apple. I feel like it might be Raven. I don't know though, for sure, because it could be just the face paint. The face paint certainly looks more like Raven's, but I feel like the features are also different. Yeah, okay, so that's side by side. You can also see here that the legs, the weird squishy legs, if I can show you that it bends. Yeah, look at that. Look, yeah. You can see that the weird squishy legs have been stained by, I'm not honestly sure what, possibly the skirt. It's weird pink stains, and she isn't wearing anything pink, but she did have the red on the skirt, so that's maybe what it is. Probably what I'm going to do with this KO doll is I might use her head for a custom, but not anytime soon. I have far too many genuine dolls in my stock box to worry about using this one. Unless I wanted to do some serious, you know, experimentation. I could try painting a face with, painting a face up with makeup or something, you know, something like that. I might use her for that. Otherwise, my plans for her are really just to steal her arms for one of my Monster High dolls, and that's kind of it. I'll just throw her into my stock box after that. So I wouldn't recommend this one in particular, because unless you found her for a much cheaper price, I don't feel that she was worth the price that I paid. But obviously that's just my opinion. Okay, so moving on. Next, I'm going to show you my knockoff Wedona. Okay, I think this is like one of the comparisons that people were most interested in seeing. Obviously, Wedona is quite a sought-after doll. I think she had quite a limited run. I don't know how many releases she had. Maybe 2, possibly, but she does seem to be quite rare, and so I know a lot of people were wondering, is this one worth getting? Yeah, I think so. I think that if you've never seen the genuine Wedona doll, this one is pretty nice. She has a similar sort of issue with her hair rooting. I'll show you there. Oh my goodness, the brightness is completely killing my camera here. Her hair is quite sparsely rooted, and it's quite weird, to be honest, but if you were planning on rerooting her, I think she's decent. Her face is quite pretty, but seeing her compared to the genuine Wedona, the face is actually kind of different. I don't know if it's just the face paint, but the real Wedona seems to be a lot prettier. Just her mold, to me, I don't know. I think that her nose is nicer and stuff. It may just be the material, the plastic actually. I honestly couldn't be 100% sure. It's hard to tell what a doll's mold really looks like because you get totally thrown off by the face paint. But the face paint on this Wedona it's not great, and mine, you can't tell, it's not really coming out on camera, but there is a mistake in it where it's like sort of scratched and it's a little wonky. So I'd say that if you were wanting this doll and you weren't going to reroot it and you weren't going to repaint the face or anything like that, I would not say that it's really a good doll for your collection, because the hair quality is bad and the face quality is bad. But the actual mold itself is okay, I guess. It's fine. It does have the bendy legs again. And I know my friend Fade actually got this doll and she was not pleased with it. I think the bendy legs like really threw her off. For me, my plans for this doll were actually to replace her legs with like a snake tail and make a kind of Naga like lady of some description. I was kind of inspired by, I'm gonna ramble here, but in the Final Fantasy 15 anime Brotherhood, there's like a many-armed snake lady that they fight, like a monster that they fight, and I was quite inspired to make something like that, just with the many arms. So, whoa, just on Zoom, sorry. So that's possibly what my plans are for her, but I also am kind of like, she's got 3 pairs of arms that would fit my Monster High dolls, so I may just steal her arms. I just don't know. But yeah, so that's her anyway, and sorry if I didn't answer any specific questions that people are having. If you want to know more about any of these dolls, just ask in the comments and I will try my best to answer, and if necessary I'll do a follow-up video. But yes, that's Wedona. So I've only got 2 left now. One is the sort of weird hybrid KO, and the other one is the Avia Trotter KO, which is the centaur. So I'll show you the weird hybrid first and then finish with Avia, I think. So this one here is probably the strangest KO that I've got so far. I actually bought her because I was curious more than that I actually wanted her. She was a little bit more expensive. She was about £8, I think. But I was very curious about her body because I could see that it was nicely articulated. But I just wasn't sure like what body it was. And then as she was coming, she was on posting from China, so obviously it took quite some time. But as she was on her way, I suddenly realized that it is, randomly, it's a Project MC square body. You can see the sculpt there. And I'm not going to take Ember's dress off because it looks exactly the same, with the exception of the skin tone being slightly different, because I think it's a KO of, is it McKenna is the main Project MC square girl with the white skin tone. I think she's the main one. So it is a rip-off of McKenna, I think. It's actually kind of weird because this is a knockoff, but the joints are actually better on the knockoff than they are on my genuine Ember doll, which is confusing to me. Also, the plastic feels exactly the same, so there's no drop in quality with this body. If you have a Project Empty Square doll with a damaged body, or if you got, you know, the line of Project Empty Square that didn't have articulation, these bodies would be an option. If you could get these, and then you could put your Project Empty Square dolls' heads on these bodies, and it would be a perfect fit, I would think. The only thing that's difficult is they seem to have an actual ball joint, which is really weird for KO as well. This is if you don't recognize this kind of doll here, the head that she's got, this is a Moxie Girl head, which I find a very strange. Moxie Girl, Project Empty Square, odd combination. I don't really understand how this doll came to be. I would love to get inside the mind of the person who created this. But as a doll on its own, it's quite pretty actually. And the face paint, there's no flaws in the face paint. The hair is nice quality and it's quite well rooted. There are no bald spots. It is a bit like kind of, you can't really make that out, but it's a bit scraggly at the ends. It would need a bit of a trim, but apart from that, she's pretty much perfect. She doesn't feel like a knockoff. Nothing about her feels cheap. I'm actually sort of wondering, are they like recast knockoffs like the other ones that I have here, or is it that the seller or the sellers of these dolls got sort of leftovers from the factories of the two dolls, like leftover Moxie Girl heads and leftover Project Empty Square heads, you know, like surplus things that were made that weren't actually sold, and did they just combine them to sell? I don't know, but I think this body is useful for, like I said, for anyone who has Project Empty Square girls who need an articulated body or for spares and repairs. As I said as well, she was a little bit more expensive, but if you look around on eBay, you can get them without heads for a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure what kind of joint they have though in their neck. I haven't personally got them. So yeah, interesting. I don't know what my plans for this girl are. As of now, I'm just going to leave her as she is and see if I can get an outfit for her or something. Also, she wouldn't fit on the stand because Project Empty Square girls have like a wider waist, but also a skinnier mold. It's weird. Like, they're thicker than Monster High girls, but they have very defined ribs and stuff and very defined bones here, which I find a little bit strange. But, you know, especially for a line of dolls that was supposed to be about encouraging girls to do science, I don't really understand why they have to be so, like, anorexic looking, to be perfectly honest. But that's just my opinion. That's you know, obviously if you like this sculpt and you think it's nice, that's absolutely fine. Clothed though, there's no problem with it. It's just I find the details of the hips and the ribs and stuff strange on a doll that's meant for children, especially when it's not really a fashion doll, if you know what I mean, because again, it's supposed to be about encouraging little girls to go into STEM. So yeah, that's just a little sort of tangent that I went on there, sorry. Okay, so just going to finish off with showing you the Avia Trotter knockoff, and then that's everybody. And this is moving on to what I think is the most interesting of all the KOs here. And the reason for that is that it's a centaur, and Avia's kind of, she's a little bit hard to find. There's quite a lot of Avias on eBay, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive. And I have plans to make like lots of centaurs, so I was very pleased to find out that there is actually a KO of Avia, so I'll be able to do that. So obviously this is just a Jane head, a genuine Monster High Jane head that I've popped on there. That's not the head that came with her. She didn't come with a head. I'll turn it to the side here so you can see. Oops. So the KO doesn't have any of the details that Avia has, none of the paint, but she does have the moulding of the sort of fur around there. Unlike the genuine Avia, despite the fact that they've copied the black hands for gloves, it doesn't have the... Avia is supposed to be like a harpy. That's not focusing on that. No, but anyway. Avia is supposed to be a harpy, so she has like feather moulding here on her arms, and the KO does not have that. But that's fine. Quality wise, it's fine. It's pretty much the same. It's like, it is a lighter plastic, but the joints are fine. The legs are a little bit wiggly, but so is the genuine Avia. The sculpting is okay. It'd probably look fine if you were going to paint this up for a custom. I think it would look great. The hair that it came with is pretty awful, actually. Like, as you can see, look at it. Look at the state of that. That's just how it came out of the package, just all messed up like that. But I actually think what I'm going to do with this Avia when I customize this KO Avia is I'm probably just going to remove this KO body from the horse part. Like, I'm just going to carve that out, and I'll get another doll and put them in. That would also be a good way to get a different skin tone without having to paint the body part. Obviously, you'd have to paint the horse part if you wanted a different tone for that. But that's my plans for her. I think that she was about £6. I did get her on eBay, but she's also on Aliexpress. If you just have a look around, you'll find her. Yeah, I think she's great. I'm very pleased with her. She's the one that I'm sort of the most pleased with out of all of them. So that was my collection of KO dolls so far. I hope some of you find that useful. If you liked that video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!